Hello and welcome back to the Solopreneur Insights series, where I'm sharing with you the full real-time journey of growing both of my online businesses, from my coaching business to my app startup Spotlight. I'm taking you along for the highs, the lows, and sharing the journey with you and all of the lessons along the way. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my full week and what an average week looks like for me in terms of what I'm working on, my schedule, the non-negotiables for me every single day with my business, and how much I'm actually working, what this actually realistically looks like. As someone who is running two businesses, my online coaching business and app startup as well, I have a lot on my schedule and a lot of things which I'm running at once. So for me, especially in this season, productivity is really looking like doing the most amount of work in the least amount of time possible and doing it in the most efficient and simple way. So I'm going to show you what my schedule really looks like throughout the week as I'm managing both of these businesses and what I'm really working on as well and what I really prioritize each day as well. So the first thing I do in terms of balancing everything is actually organizing my week in terms of general themes for each day. So what each day looks like and where each thing belongs essentially. So client calls is obviously a big part of my coaching business and one of the main things that I do, and I really make sure to keep those to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I have all of my client calls on those days, and alongside that I'll usually do any on-camera work, so such as filming, recording any reels, recording stories, anything along those lines which involves me actually being on camera. So this video, for example, that will be done on a Tuesday and then that will be going up on the Wednesdays as well. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays for me are always blocked off for that type of work, for anything where I need to be on camera. Mondays is very much the not on camera day of content creation behind the scenes. So I'm creating everything for the week, all the content for Instagram, for my email list, for Spotlight as well. All of those pieces that need to go out throughout the week, I'm creating those on Mondays and then scheduling them to go out. So I don't need to do anything to actually physically get them to go out. I'm scheduling them all in advance. They're ready to go. We'll just automatically upload when they're supposed to or send out. And then for me, that means Thursdays and Fridays are very open of all of my content, all of my marketing is already done. My client calls have already been taken care of on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And a lot of the bigger pieces of content, such as this YouTube video, for example, are done on the Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. So that means Thursdays and Fridays are left very, very open. And for me, those are days which are heavily focused on projects. So any project work, and I'll get to that a little bit later in the video of what that actually looks like for me. But those 2 days are very open. And then Saturdays and Sundays are usually days where me and my business partner for Spotlight will be working on the app and actually, during the days on the weekends, actually building out that and really working on that. So for me then it works really well actually to have the Thursdays and Fridays as very open of that is almost the weekend type work for me, weekend type schedule where I'm able to have that flexibility. I'm able to have a lot of freedom of what I'm wanting to do, any projects I'm wanting to work on, a lot of behind the scenes things. There's not a lot of things I have to do on Thursdays and Fridays, which make it a really manageable schedule, especially with doing Spotlight on the weekends as well. So those are the themes in terms of what my days actually look like usually. Now, within those days, the first thing I will always add into my schedule for each day is 4 non-negotiables for my business. And these are things which I always advise all of my clients to do and I think are so, so important of if you can just tick off these 4 things each day, you are good. You're completely fine. Anything else is extra. Anything else is, project work, building towards any longer term thing that you're wanting to do. But these are really the 4 components of your business for just keeping things running, keeping things functioning really well, and keeping you growing as well. So the first of those and the most important is serving your current clients. So taking the client calls, fulfilling your obligations, doing, if I said I was going to be creating these modules for these clients, actually creating those modules, responding to the messages from them, planning for the calls, onboarding, whatever that looks like, but actually just making sure you're fulfilling your client contracts essentially and just onboarding and working with your current clients and doing this in a really successful way. I know it's really easy when people are looking to grow and looking to get more sales or grow their audience to really just neglect this area or put this to the end of your to-do list, but it's so important to really keep this at the start of if you can have happy customers, if you can continue to engage people and give them a really amazing service that they want to come back for, that is going to serve you so much more than just putting your number one focus as getting new people in and getting new sales. This is so much more beneficial for your business for the long term of getting really consistent clients and really consistent income as well. So that would always be the number one thing I would say to prioritize of really just focusing on how can I best serve my current clients and give them an amazing experience, and that should be the first thing you focus on every day. The second thing I do every single day in my business is actually creating and putting out some content. That doesn't mean I'm needing to be creating it every single day, but something needs to go out every day. Some piece of content, marketing essentially my business, and just keeping me visible, keeping me top of mind for people, and helping them to see, what it could look like to work with me and learn a little bit more about me, connect better with me, whatever that is for that day and that piece of content. But just essentially making sure that I'm putting something out every single day in some place. It's such a simple goal to have and such a really easy metric, especially when you've got several platforms of even email list, Instagram, YouTube for me, for example, of just having something going out every single day. Some type of organic marketing is absolutely gold and really, really helpful for staying on top of your marketing. The third thing I will do every single day is sell every single day. Some days that looks like very much hard type selling of here's my offer, here's how you can sign up, here's the link to apply. Some days that will be very soft of just mentioning my program, sharing client results, just keeping that top of mind again for people, but really intentionally separating this from the content and the marketing side of marketing is just helping you to be more visible, helping people to learn about you, about your brand and connect with you and really resonate with what you're talking about. But the selling is really actively talking about here's how I can help you, here's the program. So it's so important to be doing both of those and hitting on both of those points every single day. And genuinely, this is one of the biggest things I notice with my clients and just in conversations that I have with other business owners of why they're not growing is they're just not selling every day. They're not actually talking about their offers and just, following them for a few weeks, I can't even see what are their offers, what are they actually selling at the moment, how can I work with them? So it's really helpful to just have that as a goal each day and just to mention your programs, even share client results, or actually make sure you're consistently as well talking about how people can work with you, how they can apply, what that actually looks like, and who would be a good fit for that program as well. And the fourth and final thing I would do every single day in my business before I layer in any projects, any other things which I'm needing to do, I'll make sure I always get these 4 things done. And the fourth thing there is actually engaging with my community and just engaging with people. I think it's really great, obviously, to be putting out content, and a lot of people will just stop there of, I'm being visible, I'm being engaging with people by just putting out content, but it really helps to have that two-way street as well of we're not just putting things out, but we're actually engaging with people, we're responding to DMs, we're putting up polls that encourage conversations with people, we are going out and connecting with other people as well, we're engaging with their content. Actually just having some kind of conversation and communication strategy there can be so helpful, especially if you are selling any kind of high ticket offer. The relationship is such a big part of that. So actually disregarding that and almost thinking, I don't have time for that, that's not a priority for me, is actually a really wrong way to think. And it can be so valuable for you to have this as a non-negotiable every single day and actually spend some time really nurturing this every single day. And the best thing about these 4 things is they're really quick. They're not things that are going to take you long. For example, for me, the checking in with clients is always something which I will do every single day. That doesn't take a huge amount of my day because I'll just have several points throughout the day that I'll go in, check my messages, respond to messages, and that will only take me about 15 minutes, half an hour each time that I do that. Actually creating content, again, I do that once a week and then I just schedule it out so we're good for the rest of the week. There's always something going out each day. Selling every single day, it's just about talking about my offer. Sometimes that is in the content I've already created, sometimes that's extra going onto stories and talking about that, whatever that is. And then also engaging with people. Again, it doesn't need to take long, but just ticking those 4 boxes every single day is so valuable, and that's been such a game changer for me, actually starting with these in my to-do list before adding in anything else. So after I've added these 4 things into my to-do list, I will then add in the important things that are really fixed events essentially. So client calls, any other calls with any business friends, any other sales calls, anything along those lines, I'll add those onto my to-do list then, those onto my schedule. And that's that kind of second layer on top of that. And then usually for me, that will be about 4 hours on Tuesdays and then about 3 hours on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is slightly lighter usually in terms of the call volume, but those 2 days will be really my core days. And then once I've got that, anything else added is literally just project work. There's no other essential work in my business in terms of keeping things running week after week, which is really simple, right? When you look at it, it's not complex. There's not hours and hours and hours of things to do. It's not even full-time hours anywhere near. I can run this very simply and in a very lean way if I really want to. In a certain week, I can have a lot of time off if I'm wanting to as well, because I have the systems and the structures to support that. but just having it run in that way where I have these 4 non-negotiables, I'm adding in on top of that the client calls, and then anything else is what are we working towards long term at the moment? Is there a funnel I'm building out? Is there a masterclass I'm running? Is there a virtual retreat I need to plan for because I do quarterly virtual retreats for all of my one-to-one clients? I'm really just looking at what else do I want to be doing? What else do I need to be adding in for more long-term focus that allows me to have a lot of that, planning, organization, vision type time as well within my schedule. But equally, it means that I know what my non-negotiables are. I know what my minimum viable version of running my business is, and it's really not a lot of time. So those 4 things, absolutely gold. Definitely implement those into your business if you do not run your business that way already, of just ticking those 4 boxes every single day, and everything else on top of that is really just extras then. And then for Spotlight, our app startup for online service providers and coaches, really helping with client communication, we are currently in the phase of getting everything prepared, everything built on the back end, and also the final updates and features which are coming before we actually launch in the next couple of months. So very exciting time there. But in terms of the schedule and how that looks, again, we do a lot of that work on weekends, which sounds crazy to some people, but I absolutely love it. And I think it's really amazing that my business gives me the flexibility to have a really softer schedule during the week if I'm wanting to, so then I can really focus during that weekend period. And it's really just focus time where, I'm not on with clients, I'm not going to be getting any messages that I need to respond to, and I can just really focus on that app time there. So the schedule for that as a startup is obviously very, very flexible. It's very undefined in terms of that, but personally my responsibilities are very much in the setup of everything, the organization on the back end, and also in terms of the marketing and the sales side. So everything other than development essentially of the actual product. So for me, that very much looks like the non-negotiables being the marketing and sending out those marketing pieces. So again, the same schedule that I have during the week for my coaching business is very much applied to the weekend as well, in a mini version for Spotlight. So I will always make sure to create all the pieces that need to go out, actually schedule everything up so everything is able to go out. And then for me, any other calls, of course, which we have, which for us look like feedback calls with people over the last couple of weeks of really getting to, know their opinions on the product and hear their thoughts and get their feedback as well and what they want to see from our early users. And then thirdly, project work, which Spotlight at the moment is very project work heavy. There's a lot of back-end setup we're doing leading up to the launch. There's a lot of things which need to be created and need to be built essentially before we can actually launch. A lot of systems, a lot of the payment methods, subscriptions, all of those different things. It's a lot of project work at the moment. So it's definitely the project work heavy side, whereas my coaching business is more the daily non-negotiables and the client calls heavy versus projects. But I think it works really well in terms of the balance of those 2 things together. So that is the schedule. And when you look at things, obviously in terms of the hours that I actually work each week, on the Tuesdays with the 4 hours of client calls, Wednesdays 3 hours of client calls approximately each week. Then with the non-negotiables, that's about an hour each day, or maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum. And then on top of that, it's any really optional projects. So it's very fluid throughout the weeks and very much changing each week, but it's really nice to have that flexibility and have that freedom as well of the projects are very much optional things at this point because I've built so much out already in my business. If they're just things I'm adding on, they're just things I'm improving and optimizing. So for example, this week I'm optimizing my content bank system, so moving everything over to another platform, and that is my project for this week. But it gives a lot of flexibility, it gives a lot of freedom, which I absolutely love in terms of how I'm really structuring things and how I'm running things, and again, gives me a very flexible schedule there as well. So that is what my schedule currently looks like with running the 2 businesses and putting out so much content and just doing a lot and being very visible with those 2 as well each week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Comment below what you would like to see more of, if you'd like me to break down any other parts of my schedule, any other parts of what I do in terms of what I'm working on, or just see any more behind the scenes around there. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to see the next one in the Solopreneur Insights series. And thank you so much for watching.